If you've been on the internet long enough, everybody has said something that has made some people mad. The goal is to learn from your mistakes, apologize, legitimately. All right, Cierra Ortega getting canceled off of Love Island for using the C word. Let's talk about it. But first, I gotta go get some boba. All right, time to try the only boba spot I've never been to in Chinatown ever on Canal Street is Penguin Ice Cream. Yes, they have boba here. I've walked past this business many, many times in my life, and I've never yet walked in. I'm gonna go support it. Let's check it out.
AKA ST,
Monty.
AKA ST in my mind. Y'all
All right,
already
check
know.
it out.
We outside.
From Staten Island, messing with the Wu-Tang. Yep, that's where Wu-Tang is from.
You already know ST from SI. We out here.
All right, have a good. Oh, for $6.35 for a large special fruit tea with real fruit in it. First of all, I do think that there is fruit syrup mixed with real fruit inside, but it's pretty tasty. Penguin Ice Cream, Canal Street. All right, let's go. Shout out to Penguin. That's an underrated spot in Chinatown. If you keep up with pop culture, you've probably seen the news already. Cierra Ortega, who was a finalist in Love Island, which is a widely popular reality TV show right now, people are gathering at bars across New York City to watch the final episodes. So it's really big. And for her to get kicked off before the finale, also really big news. And why she got kicked off? Well, on some somewhat recent and also way past social media posts, she had used a word, which is the form of the slur, chink, and she said her eyes look chinky multiple times. And by the way, guys, this is not the first time she used it. She didn't just use it once. She used it on her social media. Apparently, people told her not to use it anymore and said, hey, that's an offensive term. And then she went on and used it one more time, albeit not in a hateful, malicious way, but she definitely did say the word. So anyways, the network took her out of the final episode. Obviously, there is a media storm around this. A lot of people attacked her, sent threats online, and so that's why I'm talking about it. What I want to talk about are the main reactions, and is there somewhat of a double standard? Because we've seen plenty of stars use the word chinky before. Remember Cardi B back in 2020? Now, I first off want to say that I do not think she should have been saying that word. I don't think she said it in the most hateful way. That was not the context and the intention by no means, and I believe that. So I don't think she's a bad-hearted person, but she is very ignorant to keep using that word. And I think a lot of people are also very undereducated about that word being a slur, which I think is actually interesting because on a list of American ethnic slurs, like of all of them in America that you should not say, chink is definitely top 10. In fact, I should even be bleeping it from my video right now, but for some reason I think that YouTube is not going to demonetize me for saying it. So anyways, maybe I did bleep it. I don't know. I'll make the decision in the edit. So listen, the debate is not about whether that is an actual slur or not. It definitely is. But I think the debate amongst some Asians are also saying, like, how much am I offended by it? You know what I mean? And how offended should you be by someone using the word chinky? Oh, are we just a bunch of snowflakes? Are we being too sensitive? Well, I'll tell you this. The network already made the decision, and she lost her chance to finish off the show, which I think was the right decision. But I also personally don't think she needs to live her life going through threats on the internet and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I stand on it. It was definitely wrong, but you can come back from this and apologize. Just as Cardi B did back in 2020 when she was talking about her daughter's eyes, she said the word chinky, and then she did come back and say, yo, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a racial slur. Never in my 27 years of life did I know that was a racial slur. I'm sorry. Obviously, if you've been listening to rap long enough, you know that a lot of rappers over time have used this word when referring to their eyes, not necessarily when referring to the people. And while I don't think people like Cardi B necessarily deserve a bunch of ignorant cards and ignorant passes just because they didn't know it was a bad word, I mean, I'm glad people spoke up and told her about it. Also, I know Cardi B does have some Asian friends in her circle, so I'm sure they let her know. Listen, sometimes I feel like we give a pass to rappers or people from backgrounds where we don't expect them to be educated about these things. And maybe a couple decades ago, I could see there being an excuse, to be honest, where people are like, all right, well, it's kind of like what we just said in the neighborhood growing up. It's what you do in the hood. Yes, people say C N-word that, C N-word that. They'll mix the two slurs, make it something endearing. I get it. Of course, I get it. I've been called that in an endearing way, too. But I also do not use that word with other Asians in an endearing way. But I guess I could see in a situation where, I'll just say this, it just doesn't sound good as a homie term, is all I'm saying. But I think in 2025, when people are not that old, and Cierra Ortega is not very old, I just don't think there's as many excuses. But does it make you a terrible person? No, but you should come out and apologize. What I hope she doesn't do is pretend like she had a pass or she didn't know. She should just apologize, say my bad, I will never do it again, and move on with her life. And listen, I don't speak for all Asians, but I think that there are a portion of Asians out there who are like, oh, whatever, like I use that word, or I've heard my friends use that word, or certain Asians, like in the comment section, people are like, oh, well, Filipinos use that word to describe East Asian features. I get it. I've also heard it from Filipino friends. I've heard it from black friends. And honestly, when the white kids said it, it always felt different when they said it. It always felt like it had a different intention. But anyways, a lot of minorities tend to believe that because they're other minorities, that they don't mean it in a bad way. And all I'm here to say is this. You might feel like you have the pass to say certain words around your friends, as in your friends might be of a certain color or a certain ethnic background, that allow you to feel comfortable saying certain words. So that is your friend group dynamic. That's fine. I can't speak on it because I have friends and we have different dynamics. We also say maybe some things amongst each other that we wouldn't want to put out publicly. But what I'm saying is that you just have to know when not to do things publicly. Okay? Because you don't know how other people are going to react. Maybe you and your friends are cool. Listen, I don't even know if Cierra has any Asian friends and if she uses that words amongst her Asian friends, which either way, she shouldn't be using the word. But had she had some Asian friends that made her feel comfortable, I guess I could see why she was posting that, but ultimately she was in the wrong. And I'm just saying, you can never be guaranteed safety when you post something on the internet. You can never be guaranteed empathy when you post something on the internet. You just have to understand that there are certain things that you may say amongst your friends that are okay amongst your friends, but not when it leaves the friend group. I, of all people, understand that the Asian community, or let's just say the Chinese community and the black community, are not the same in America. But if you were to replace the C word in this case with any form of the N word, oh man, think about what would have happened to Cierra immediately. It would have been without a doubt, without debate, no comments, off with her head, take her off the show, and she's probably losing a bunch of brand deals. Already, she probably lost a bunch of brand deals because she is now labeled racist with the R word, which, you know, you say a couple racist words, doesn't make you a racist for the rest of your life. No, but were those racist incidences? Yeah. Were they very ignorant? Yeah. Should she have known better? Yeah. She is of the age that she should have known better, to be honest. But again, hey, this is one of the things that comes with fame. This is one of the things that comes with being on the internet. If you've been on the internet long enough, everybody has said something that has made some people mad. The goal is to learn from your mistakes, apologize legitimately, and move on with your life and show that you've changed. So, anyways, I hope Cierra can move on with her life. I don't think she's a terrible person for this, but I also don't think she comes from the Asian community, so she really doesn't have that excuse like, oh, I say it amongst my friends. No, you don't. Anyways. Yeah. I do think, to be honest, like Cardi B and Cierra being of Puerto Rican and Mexican descent, Cardi B being of Dominican and Trinidadian descent, I do think in those communities it's very common to use that word, not referring to Asian people, but referring to the shape of your eyes. And it is very common. That doesn't make it okay, and it definitely doesn't make it okay to post it on the internet and to use it as a descriptive word. You gotta be more careful than that. Basically, this is a lesson in being careful on the internet. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this whole situation. You do not have to fully agree with me, or you can agree with me. Either way, let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button. Check out other episodes of Hot Pot Boys. All right, everybody, let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. You do not have to agree with me, but hit that like button, click subscribe, and check out more episodes from the Fung Bros. Peace. All right, time for me to try the one boba spot I have never been to in Chinatown before. Shit, that shit hit the thing. It's all good. It's all good.